was I've got a couple of transfer clients that I've been kind of chasing down and talk to them briefly, and they're interested. And I keep them in the, in the list of clients. But my question is, if I'm getting the continuous response of, check back with me in 2 weeks, or check back with me next month or 2 months, should I keep them in there and just keep following up, or should I just kind of put them back?
That's a great question. Let's open that up. Jimmy, I don't know if you want to comment before we get some of the other members of the transfer station.
I'd love to hear everybody else's comments first, and I can follow up after.
Yeah, guys, what are you doing with your deals in the transfer station when you're in that situation Carlo's in, where, kind of getting the, call me back later feedback from the prospect?
Hey, I think one of the things I've kind of noticed is that I didn't know about the sets. And so as I start to see the sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm kind of basing it off the sets. I don't know if there's any data being collected off that. I'm pretty sure there is, but that's kind of what I'm looking at, Carlo. If they've had like 6 sets, then the likelihood as of right now is probably unlikely. So I may push them back. But if they have like 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm probably gonna keep contacting them for a little bit longer.
Do you mean, Asante, do you mean reschedules?
I don't know how the sets are sent. I don't know if it's a situation where they've been sent back and then they've been kind of kicked back out. But no, it's something I noticed where you can see if this is like a first time contact or a second time contact. They're like the set. So I don't know what determines the set, but when I look at the notes, I was like, oh, okay, they've kind of been here a while, depending on the set.
Mary or Jimmy, do you know what he's referring to there?
The reschedules.
The reschedules, yeah.
Oh, okay, those are reschedules.
Is that what that means, Mary and Jimmy?
They are reset. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
At this point, if they have a no-show and you send it back, they're not actively going back. The resource center is not actively going back and resetting it.
Okay.
Where they were like 3 weeks ago, the minute it was a no-show, they went back and they reset it again. Right now, they're not. They're waiting for the client to make contact. If the client makes contact, they can reset it. Or if you're still holding on to it, then we can send you a message saying, hey, the client has reached back out. So I wouldn't hold on to them, guys, more than probably 3 weeks before I set it back. If they make contact with you or the resource, I'll do my very best to make sure I get it back to you.
And back to Carlo's question, Mary, he's kind of saying that was, I think, an Asante deal there. And then what Carlo's kind of asking about is, what do you do when they keep saying, the prospect keeps saying, get back to me. So thanks, Asante, for that kind of feedback. But it sounds like with the iteration Mary and Jimmy have made there, sounds like that should be less of an issue now, Asante, in the future. I like that iteration. Let's see if anybody else has some feedback for Carlo. When you have those people, those prospects that are pushing you off, Michael and Ben and Robert and Lisa and George, Kyra, whoever wants to, what are you doing and how are you addressing those? Go ahead, George.
I give them 3 kicks at the can, and then I do what Mary suggested, which is, okay, you can call me back now when you're interested, and then I'll let them go.
That's pretty much what I do too, Tom. Is you give them 1 or 2, 3 chances. I text them. I'm not big on sending emails to people who don't respond, but texting, I do. And if they don't, it really does clog up your pipeline when they don't respond. And
agreed.
I know they're valuable leads in terms of that, but if they're not moving anywhere, they're not moving forward, people are stalling, and it does clog you up when it comes down to it.
And let me ask you, George and Barbara, do they know, when you talk about 3 kicks to the can, so to speak, do they know that you're setting them free and letting them loose, and that the chase is no longer on?
With me, go ahead, George.
Yeah, I tell them what's happening, and leave it at their discretion and initiative.
Okay.
And I usually leave mine with a question: are you still interested in obtaining some working capital or a consultation with me. And if they don't answer to that, then I just, let them go. Because I'm asking them to, give me some kind of response back. Mhm.
When I was following up with my clients, what I would always say is after that second or third time where, they no longer are being responsive or saying, get back to me at the end of the summer, I'll finally close it out and say, listen, I'm going to go ahead and close the file at this time. In the future, if you would like for us to reevaluate your situation and take a look at potentially taking you on as a client, hit me up.
That's very good.
Can that be an automated email to them? Like if we kick them back and close them, not interested, or could one of the drop downs be no response or no reply?
You could certainly make that one of your signature lines or quick parts in your Outlook email or in your email if you wanted. Then you could craft the email the way you wanted, and you wouldn't have to type it every time. I mean, that's certainly one you would have a little more control over, Barbara.
Okay.
If you're familiar with creating a signature line in Outlook or a quick parts, then you would have more control over it and you wouldn't have to do it. But that's just one idea.
Okay.
Robert, I see your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a slightly different approach. As long as they're answering the phones and talking to me about the particular program, still sound interested, then I will continue to call when they tell me to, every 2 weeks, every month, or whatever. The moment that they stop answering the phone after that, and it comes to the George or Barbara's way where I send a couple emails, couple calls, if no response, then they go back to the, but as long as they answer the phone and we engaging, they just stay in the pipeline. And I keep talking to them as long as they keep needing me to, because at some moment they actually going to have what they need to move forward. So.
Okay. Jimmy, you want to tie a bow on this at all? You have any 2 cents?
Yeah, sorry, gang. It's a little noisy. I'm down on the sales floor today and tomorrow. The only thing that keeps coming back to me is is setting a deadline in the CSP. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch of times, and there's a couple of different schools of thought on that. So it's on the development schedule.
These are people who don't even get to the CSP stage.
Oh, they are?
I thought we were talking about folks who are scheduled in the transfer station that we can't move forward to a
Okay.
survey.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
maybe I didn't hear the question. I thought it was for people who are transferred and we're not getting a hold of them or not moving forward, or they putting us off.
Originated with Carla, right? Carla, that's the heart of the question, is people that don't show.
Yeah, well, it's not so much they don't show, it's people that I actually talk to and I explain BOSS to them and they say they're interested, but they either don't have money for a down payment, or they have a lot going on, or whatever the reason is. And they're saying, hey, I like the program, check back with me in 2 weeks or in 1 month or 2 months, or whatever it is.
I thought that would be a pending client, because you have done the survey. So you can put them
it hasn't gotten to a
pending.
survey yet. I've just kind of talked to them about BOSS. So I kind of go into detail before I actually do the survey, so they know what it is. But then it's just like, well, call me in 2 weeks, or call me back in a month. And I do that, but then, it's repeated again. I'm still not ready. Call me back in, 2 weeks or a month.
So how do you know they don't have the money for the down payment?
Just from what they're telling me.
Explain.
So I've actually said to them that the down payment, because I get into the payment part of it and what the cost is. I tell them it ranges from $4,000 to $6,000. If you can't afford it, we've got a financing option for you, which would require $1,000 down payment. So that down payment is what they don't have available.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys might want to chime in on this, but it doesn't sound like the right approach to me.
Yeah, you're
I mean,
you're de- you're
how do you,
de-
how do you sell something before they know the benefit?
yeah, you're
you're-
DQing them before they can see the value.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I would be concerned with that approach.
Okay.
I mean,
You-
Barbara's shaking her head up and down.
yeah,
I mean, I think you're killing your deal, Carlo, before you even get a chance to tell them what the benefit is.
You know,
I've been
Carlo,
struggling-
Hey,
I've had
it's going to be
people,
$5,000.
right?
Well, no,
Wait
I
a
don't
minute,
say that.
it's the cure to cancer. Hold on, yeah, I'm
No,
in.
no.
I'm in.
Well, I don't get into the pricing like the first. I don't mention the pricing at the initial part of the conversation. It's actually after I've actually told them about what the program is, and then the question always pops up. Well, okay, that's great, but how much is it?
Well, you
Yeah.
know, for those folks you're having that conversation before the survey, if you get to the survey and you ask certain questions like, what do you intend to use the funds for, and get them to give you some reason why this BOSS program, you can, pretty much show them would be the answer to some of their concerns. If they're kind of squawking about, or they're pulling back because of the fee, then I do emphasize, you look like a candidate that would be great for this program. We can outline a strategy for you. And also, once you see these numbers, that might make you, a little bit more aware of what we're actually doing and how much funding we can get you, which you can actually use some of the funding to pay off the balance of this debt, of this, cost. So I wouldn't throw them, to the curve because they're saying they don't have the money. I would try to kind of convince them that if we can show you, and not having the funds or not having access to money seems to be an issue that's holding you back. And this program is designed to help clients just like you who may not have access to cash when you need it. So we'd love to show you what we can actually do to change that situation around, that you don't have access to $1,000 or $500 or $2,000 to benefit from a program such as this, which is very valuable to clients like you. I mean, that's the kind of conversation that I would have with someone who's not moving forward because they don't have the money. That's exactly why you may want to take a look at this program, Mr. Client, because I run into folks just like you that realize that, they can't move forward because of lack of access to funding or credit or access to money when they need it. And this is what this program is designed for. So I kind of smooth them into, I just don't I don't have the money just like that. I try to convince them that this is a great way, a great opportunity for you to look at some options of, I'm in a situation where I can't come up with cash when I need it. And we can show you, a different approach to that problem that you're having as a business owner. That's the kind of conversation I would have with them.
So, Carlo, here's my question for you. Do you have a script?
I kind of do.
That's
do
the
have
wrong answer. That's the wrong answer.
Well, I have a list of bullet points that I hit.
Yeah, that's the wrong answer. So here's the deal. You need to have a script, and you need to be brief, short, and to the point. You'll never sell anything, especially in a large, big ticket items, don't get sold without building a relationship. You're not giving yourself a chance. You're a very personable guy. You're a very knowledgeable guy. They don't know you, and you're answering questions on behalf of them. You need to control the conversation from the very beginning. So you need to write the questions out. Number one, sir, you came to me through our resource center. I understand that you're looking for capital. Is that still true? Yes or no? Yes, I'm still looking for capital. Okay, great. Let me share with you what we do. We work with early stage startup companies that are looking for capital. We do two things for you. Number one, we get you capital as soon as possible based on your personal qualifications, and we put you in a constant state of readiness. That's a process. I don't charge for this process. It starts with a survey. I am a professional at getting the information I need to turn over to a board. We call them the senior business strategist. That board has over 50 years of combined experience in building strategies for small businesses just like you. And again, this is something other consulting firms charge like $2,500 for. I don't ask a dime because we're so confident in our process. It's going to require 30 minutes of your time. Are you interested? Yes or no? Yes, I'm interested. Okay, great. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I'm going to ask you to elaborate on some of those questions. Again, my job is I am your advocate. My entire purpose in existence here is to get you money now as soon as possible based on your personal qualifications, and to build you an asset that will put you and your business in a constant state of readiness. So when you need growth capital, when you need to hire more employees, when you need to buy more equipment, when you need to blah, 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 you will be ready for that. But I'm going to ask you questions. Your only commitment to me right now is 30 minutes of your time. Can we get started right now, sir? Boom. Start asking the questions. Don't let them control the conversation, Carlo. You can't do that. You are the professional. They called you. They put their, I need money, help me, right? They called you. Remember that. What you're doing right now is you're chasing money. Do you know what happens when you chase money? It runs. And that's what's happening. They're running away. They're running away, and you're chasing them. Hey, call me back. Hurry up, call me back. Oh, please, please, please. I'm begging you, call me. That game's over. Starting today, you're going to write 3 questions down. You're going to use them in your script. It's got to be you. You got to be comfortable, but learn 2 very important things. Number 1, mindset. It's all here. You have something incredibly valuable, and they need it or they wouldn't have called you. And number 2 is you must control the narrative. You must control the narrative. If you're busy, if it's urgent, and you're moving quickly, they respect that. People don't respect people that will sit there and jaw with you for 30 minutes about nothing. You are busy. Say, hey, I'm really glad you made the appointment. I only got 30 minutes. Let's go through this real quick. I understand you contacted our partners over Connected Investors. Is that true? You're looking for capital. Still looking for capital? Yes. Looking for capital. Excellent. That's great. Quick little brief on us. We are a company that specializes in startup and early stage companies. We secure you capital in 2 forms. Number 1, immediately based on your personal qualifications. And number 2, I am going to take you through a process that will put you in a constant state of readiness. So when you need additional capital, Mr. Client, it will be available to you. This is how this works. We go through a process. I start with an interview. I'm going to ask you some questions. Those questions are going to lead me through a process so that I can prepare a document and hand it off to our board of senior business strategists. If I'm successful and if they like your deal, they will come back with what's called a custom strategic plan. Typically, consulting companies charge $2,500 for this exact same thing. I'm so confident, and I've helped so many people, we don't charge. That's a gift. I'm giving it to you. Don't ask for a damn thing except for 1 item from you, 30 minutes of your time. That's what we do. That's how we do it. Are you ready to move forward? Yes or no?
And Carlo, you don't want to give them the appearance of they got to wait until they get the money to call you. Most people are not going to do that. Has any one of these folks called you back and say, hey, I've got the money that you said I'll need. What do I need to do next?
We don't allow them to control the narrative, so they're never going to ask how much this is. And if they do, out of respect, they say, well, how much is this? I can't answer that question until I go through the survey. And I'm not the one that determines that. The senior business strategist determines that. I will tell you this. What we're going to do for you is we're going to gather you capital. The capital you deploy is far in excess, sometimes 5, 6, 10 times your increase in revenue over what it's going to cost you to get this. That I will guarantee you. If you qualify, and if your qualifications meet the demand, and what I can do is I will tell you that whatever the charge is that comes from the senior business strategist, when you deploy that capital, your return on investment will be many, 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 many times your investment. Now, if you're interested in going forward, great. If you're not, I understand. Have a nice day. Control the narrative, control the narrative, control the narrative. If you're not busy, if you're like, well, hey, dude, hey, yeah, nice to meet you. What's going on? Hey, what'd you do this weekend? And I'm being a little bit facetious, but you understand. You understand the main focus. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Try that. See what happens. And you know, and if they say, hey, listen, I don't know. It's like the same. I just coached our resource center guy. here, we're hiring people, right? And we had somebody that was a pretty good candidate. And she said, and when Danny said, hey, you know, I might be interested in going to the next level with you in a personal interview, you'd have to come in here to meet me directly. Is that something you'll do? She goes, well, I don't know. I'll think about it. I said, Danny, pull the
Yeah.
offer. That instant.
Yep.
Say, you know what? This is not for you. If you're not excited about meeting me, this interview's over. Thank you very much. Boom.
Bye.
Gone. It's like dating, right? Remember when you met your wife? When I met Mary, I chased her around the block. I wouldn't let her go. I knew I had to sell her because look at me. Come on. You know,